Thank you, everyone. Ayman, Rishabh, all you wonderful people. I don't know how I made it up here, but here I am. And the reason why I did not take that podium and this one is because I can sit in front of my darling wife who's come to watch today. So, so when I said darling wife, Kunal Vijayekar also did this. I don't know why. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Boman Irani, in case Cyrus yapped about all the money that I owe him and did not mention my name. And I can't assume that everybody knows who I am. So my name is Boman Irani. Once on a flight, there was a guy who came, walked past and spotted me. And I was sitting there in the third row. And he got excited. And I got excited too. And he said, "Hey, my favorite actor, my favorite actor." And he screamed, and I was pretty chuffed about it. And then he bends into my ear and says loud enough for the entire aircraft to hear, "Aap mera favorite actor hai, lekin aapka naam kya hai?" From that day on, we don't assume anything at all, right? So, here I am, ladies and gentlemen, so proud to be with my son and my wife and Kunal, who stakes claim, and all of you. And I am today particularly overwhelmed at what happened this morning, what's happening over here, to watch these videos, to hear Rishabh speak, to hear all these youngsters who are managing this fantastic event. It is an event. It's an event for all of India to be proud. And I'm part of it, and I'm standing in front of you. And it makes me humbled and very, very proud. There's a special significance tonight here for me. And I'll tell you why. I was born posthumously. My father died before I was born, and my mother brought me up single-handedly. I wasn't great academically, not great at all. Discovered that I had dyslexia and some learning disability. I still have number dyslexia or dyscalculia. I just can't remember numbers. I just can't. You tell me which room I am staying in and I'll forget in a second. Sometimes I knock on the wrong room. Sometimes I do it on purpose, but we'll talk about that later. But the reason why I'm saying this is particularly overwhelming and emotional for me is when I passed out of school, I did not know what to do. I wanted to be in the entertainment business, but I did not know how. But I needed to do something else before I made that grade. It's taken me years, it's taken me a lifetime, but I did not know what to do. So I decided to be a waiter. And my belief system says, you reach for the stars, you land on the treetops. So to reach for the stars, I decided to apply for a job as a waiter at the age of 19, right here at the Taj Mahal Hotel, which makes it so very special for me. And I came in for an interview. I wore a bow tie and all of that, and I worked on my accent. And there was a Parsi manager called Sam Bhada. You remember Sam Bhada? All right? I'll come to the center. I like taking center stage. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit of a narcissist. So Sam Bhada, he looked up and he said, "What's your name?" I said, Boman. Irani che? Apni dukan nathi? Matlab, you don't have a Irani dukan, chai ki dukan? I said, "No, we have a wafer shop. My mother runs a wafer shop." It was a tiny little shop. All right? And he said, okay, but which department do you want to join? Which department? And I said, bahut style maar ke bola, food and beverage. So you know what he said? "Bloody idiot. The whole hotel business is about food and beverage. Which department do you want to join?" So I'd like to join the Rendezvous. Oh, he's impressed suddenly. The Rendezvous? I said, yes. The French restaurant? I said, yes. The most expensive restaurant in India? I said, yes. You want to, it's on the rooftop. The rooftop? I said, yes. He's saying, excellent. At least you have a want in life. You want something. And every one of you must have a want. However, he said, "Son, go to the basement, you idiot. And I was very offended. And he sent me into the basement. He said, start with room service, start carrying trays, start washing stuff. And slowly and steadily, you work your way up to the top. There is no way you can start at the top. And this is the biggest lesson I have ever learned in my life. You have to pay your dues, guys. Let me go on. I'm going to wave some red flags over here for a change. All of you, and I can say this with great confidence after what I've seen today, all of you are going to be very, very successful, very famous. I don't know if you'll be celebrities, but you'll be very famous at what you do. Within the organization, you'll be famous. Within your own little world, you'll be famous. Internationally, you'll be famous. And I've got to wave some red flags at you because of that. When people in school, when children in school perform, right? When children in school perform, you see little kiddies, they come and dance and they're looking out for their mummies and their daddies and the photographs that are taken. You know, they dance with aplomb and abandon and an innocence that somehow when we become professionals, we lose out on that. And why is that? There are many reasons. Money could be one of them. They're not paying me enough, so why should I shake my leg even more vigorously, right? Why should I do that? But the most important thing is, no matter what you do and how far you go, and you will go very far, remember, retain that innocence. Retain that innocence with which you welcomed us here today. Each and every person, famous or not, every time they walked onto the red carpet with as much gusto for each and every person who entered, you applauded innocently. When you become famous, you'll stop applauding. Now, I'm the famous guy. So you have to be very careful about this. I'm going to wave out this red flag. When I broke into the industry, I got well known. I started getting offers. I started making money. And let me tell you, there is something that I like to call the opium of fame. It's a bad word. It's a bad word. The intoxication of fame. And let me tell you how dangerous that is. There was a young actor who came up to me once and said, Boman sir, give me some acting tips. Give me some acting tips. I said, you're a very good actor. No, I'd like to know a lot more. I said, you're a good actor. Just be careful of the opium of fame. Because the day you succumb to that, you will forget how to act. You will lose your craft. You will lose your art. And you'll just be someone who's living in a world of intoxication. You know, this is my belief system. This is my belief system. You'll be promoted with each outing within 6 months, within a year, sometimes even earlier than that. And I try to make a correlation of promotion with the way you dress, for example. When you're walking around in your pajamas, trust me, I came over here to demonstrate that, there will be a certain walk. Right? Right? Understand this exercise. When you wear jeans, believe me, there's another kind of walk. There's a swag that goes with jeans. When you wear a blazer, you suddenly walk differently. When you wear a suit and a tie, believe me, that walk changes. And it should. Nothing wrong with it. But the person inside should always be the same little kid that we see here today. That should never change. Believe me. Because I've seen destruction right in front of my very eyes. I've seen people destroy themselves. What does IIMUN stand for? This is the actual reason why I am here. India. What makes India India? We can talk about many things. It's diversity, ranging from food, okay, our dress, our festivals, right? Multicultures, so many things. But I believe in this, and I believe in IIMUN simply because of this. Because I think we are defined by our humanity. if there is humanity in what we do and as we represent ourselves, and look, you will be ambassadors of this country, as am I even today. Just because everyone says I am not as young as you are, doesn't mean I stop being an ambassador. I think I'm as young as you are in that sense, because I want to be an ambassador of my country. So what does the ambassador do to tell the world that this is what we are all about? We've been watching the FIFA World Cup, right? We'll catch a game. The Japanese team, for example. The Japanese fans, for example. Right? They win a match. What happens when fans are in the stands and a match is won by their team? There'll be stuff all over the place. There'll be popcorn in the air. There'll be all kinds of trash. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Then you win, and then you're intoxicated by your victory. And you forget that I'm leaving behind trash. The Japanese fans, they win the game, and they clean up the stands of their kachara and other people's kachara also. It's not a nice thing to generalize, but when you're saying nice things, you should generalize. The Japanese team, they leave their dressing room spotless. And that's how we identified them, and we generalize the Japanese as they are socially aware. They clean up. They don't leave a mess. And that's such a good branding to have. So what's our branding? I think it'll be nice not just to concentrate on how we dress, how we speak, our diversity, our clothes, our festivals, but also what makes us the better human being. Make a list of it and push that agenda. Push that agenda of the human. We are greater Mehman Nawazi. We are the best in the world. I tell you. Push that agenda. Let the world know you go to an Indian's house anywhere else in the world, he will treat you like a king. Don't we? Tell me, don't we? The best in the world, right? And I think we should represent ourselves simply by how good we are. I'll say this. I'm going to say something which I said a little earlier. I've got to join it again. When you are, for example, not very successful and you have a human trait, say you are a miser, right? Or you are a very generous person, or you are hot-headed, or there is a certain amount of kindness in you. Various different human traits. And this is my belief. You will be famous. You will make a great name. But remember one thing. My belief system says that fame, intoxication, and money only magnify the real you. So, if you are a miser, believe me, when you become famous, you'll be more miserly. If you're generous and when you become famous or intoxicated, you'll be more generous. If you are a hot-headed guy and you lose your head when you're nobody, imagine what kind of a tantrum you'll have when you are a somebody. Imagine if you're a kind person. Imagine if you're a kind person when you're a nobody, how much more kindness you'll spread when you're more famous or intoxicated. I just completed a film called Unchai. It's about three, let's call them old men. It's okay. And it was directed by this gentleman called Suraj Barjatia. And I tell you, when we do a shot, the director says cut, and then he goes behind the monitor and has a look and sees on the monitor in the playback if the shot is okay. All right? And Suraj Barjatia would say, okay, it's good. And the gentlest of gentle people would come and speak on the mic and say, Mr. Bachchan, shot okay. Boman ji, shot okay. Anupam ji, shot okay. Neena ji, shot okay. And then he'll turn around and there was this guy sitting on the floor with a machine that makes the fog machine for smoke. And he turns and said, Beta, shot okay, bahut acha fog diya. That's the guy you should want to be, no matter how famous or how big you are. Believe me, that's the guy you should want to be. So, Ayman, God bless you. I feel privileged, especially this morning when I was sitting with all you people, not knowing what to say. Chote muh badi baat mujhe nahi karni thi, to main chup baitha zyadatar. Maafi chahunga aapse. But I'll say this. Some years ago, I went to New York. I went to New York to the Lexington Hotel. And I walked into the Lexington Hotel, and like this morning, there was a warm welcome, and the staff was there, and I'm very embarrassed by all of that, believe it or not. So when things like that happen, I start clapping myself out of embarrassment because I'm shy. Believe it or not, I'm shy. And there was a gentleman that gave me a bouquet of flowers. And I said, hey, hold on. And I gave back the flowers to the gentleman. I said, I cannot accept these flowers from you, Mr. Sam Bhara. You gave me my first job and you taught me my biggest lesson. Life has its ways. Life has its ways. Of going full circle, 2 quick anecdotes I'll go of what I would really like us to learn. I'd really like us to learn from. Somebody asked, Mr. Godrej, who are his greatest inspirations? I'm going to say something that's very controversial. One of my greatest inspirations was my mother-in-law. Don't laugh, all laugh, no problem. All the men in the audience are saying, what the hell is this old man talking about? And my father-in-law and my mother and my wife. My mother, every time I'd step, I'll talk about mother last, I'm sorry. But this is a little story about a simple person who you can be inspired by. There was a girl who was working in their house, all right, who was caught stealing lots of money. And everyone was aghast and everybody was upset. And then they said, we've got to let you go. Of course, no Parsi was going to send this little kid to the police station. She must have been 21 odd years old. Am I right, Zenobia? Yeah? Maybe a little younger, 19-year-old kid. Nobody was going to send her to the police station. And she was asked to leave. And then my father-in-law enters the kitchen, and there was a dining table over there. And she was sitting at the dining table and eating. My father-in-law goes to my mother-in-law and says, what's going on? She's saying, I can't send a child home hungry. Even if she is stolen and we can't keep her, and I wish we could, because the family says, no, 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 she'll do it again. But I can't send someone home hungry. That's humanity. That's humanity. Parsi-owned cars. Godrej Sahib, your car must be very, very in demand whenever you sell yours, or you don't need to sell one, God bless you. But my father-in-law has this car that he had kept for many years, and his neighbor, the Bori gentleman, he'd come and say, whenever you sell your car, I want it. All right? And he says, okay. So when the time came to sell the car, the gentleman said, you find out what the market rate is, I'll find out what the market rate is, and we'll figure something out. So my father-in-law went around to all the garage mechanics, and they said, let's say 1 lakh. 1 lakh for the car. All right? He came with a figure, and he said, since it's a Parsi-owned car, he gave my father-in-law 1,25,000 rupees. All right? My father-in-law accepts the money. So you're sure? He's saying, I'm absolutely sure. I think your car is worth 1,25,000 rupees. But all the people that he had asked had said, it's worth 1 lakh. Guess what happens? My father-in-law cannot sleep that night. He cannot sleep. Why? Because it's the wrong price. I think somebody gave him the wrong information. And he goes and returns that 25,000 rupees. In this day and age, my friends, if you have the innocence of my mother-in-law and the ethics of my father-in-law, the two simplest people in the world, we don't need to be famous. We don't. Thank you so much. My mother, God bless her soul, passed away at 94 last year and had the mind of a genius. But every time she sent me, I went on stage, she would ask me 500 questions. Who are you going to talk? What are you going to talk about? You know, the whole damn thing. And then I'd go home, she'd ask me, what did you say? Did you do this? Did you do that? Saying, yeah, I tell the whole damn thing. But she'll ask me 2 questions, actually, similar to what my father-in-law and mother-in-law are all about. 2 questions. And that is the be-all and end-all of existence. Yeah, you'll be rich and you'll be famous and you'll be very, very successful. But she'll ask 2 questions. How was the crowd? I said, lovely. And the first question would be, did they show you love? I'll say yes. And the second question is, did they show you respect? I'll say yes. Thank you everyone for allowing me to tell my mom that you showed me love and respect. And God bless Ayamun. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. God bless you all. And now the end is near, so I face the final curtain. My friends, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway and more, much more than this. Little louder. I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I've planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced them all, and I stood tall and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed, I've cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing. And now, when tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that. And may I say, not in a shy way, oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels. In other words, of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows
deserves a standing ovation. Ladies and gentlemen, Boman Irani.